Hi everyone, my name's Abigail. I'm a psychic medium, a therapist and a counselor, and I have a passion for manifesting. And today I just wanted to go over how to write. Like, this might sound really simple on the surface, but I actually don't think it is. And it's a lot of women that come to me for readings, they're obviously invested in having the best relationship they can have. And I notice one of the big things that's coming out at the moment is people are taking relationships really seriously and wanting to go next level. Like, they're kind of fed up. They're at the point where, it hasn't worked out, but I want it to work out. And so I really do feel that a lot of them are at the manifesting stage of really being clear about what they want. The problem is that I think on the surface that seems very simple to go, oh, well, I want this, and I want whatever it is they want. But I think you've got to be a lot more specific than what you have been in the past to ensure that you don't get what you've had in the past. So one of my big things is be clear. Be clear with yourself what you want. And that means writing it down, which doesn't mean writing a note on your phone. I'm sorry, but there's a different resonance and a different frequency to writing a note on your phone to actually writing on paper. And one of the things I have, which I don't know where it is, somewhere here, I don't know, is a locked diary. Like, I know they're from like teenage girl ages, but how wonderful is it to have your own private locked diary, eBay, that you can write whatever you feel like and whatever you want and get your feelings out, and or put your dreams and your wishes in and just keep it for you so that you can relax and just go, yeah, okay. So let's talk about what that's so funny. Let's talk about what you want instead of this business, because this is the other thing. I feel that there's a massive shift away from having a relationship because there's a connection. Like, connections are great and wonderful, but when they're really, really intensive, they're usually karmic, let's learn you a lesson with your darkness type relationships. So just be mindful of that, because it might feel like it, but what you're missing is the substance, and this is where the manifesting comes in. So what I think is really important is you write your list. So you may or may not have a preferred type physically. Like, that's up to you. Some people like height, some people like hair colors, some people like, body types, whatever that might be. Write it all. Start writing, and write in the present tense. I am so appreciative, not grateful. Appreciation has a higher value, because grateful's like being grateful there was a rose growing in my garden, so it's kind of there and I'm lucky. And what might I have done to get it? What about if I just appreciated the beauty of all the roses that turned up and I was just immersed in it? It's a different vibration and it's higher. So I am appreciative of my person. You can call them person, call them whoever, and write the qualities that you want. My relationship with this person that has, and physically, what do you want them to look like? Or even some basics, like, leave it open. And okay, this is really important. If you start writing and you start seeing images, because right when you're relaxed, right? If you start seeing images, like, say you're imagining someone tall and then you see dark hair, write that, because what you're doing is bringing in future memories. So it's already created. We know this. It's already created. And what you're wanting to do is line up your heart with what you've already created, or what has been created for you, and get rid of all the old patterns that you've been living with for your life. And this way you want the new relationship. You want the perfect. So next thing is, let's think about relationships. Like, you want someone who can provide. I'm sure you don't want to be the boss bitch. I'm sorry, that's toxic, and it's out and it's done and it's finished. Let's not even go there, because a receiving female is not a boss bitch. She's just not. She's feminine, she's lovely, she's like she's strong, but she's in her energy of life is good, and there's nothing that needs to be bossy about that. You just get what you get because you deserve it and you're worthy and you're truly valuing yourself deeply and completely. And that's why it flows to you, because you don't have all your walls up, right? So you want someone who has leadership. So what is leadership? Ideally, I don't know, these are just suggestions. If you don't want this, that's fine, but leadership would be someone who is able to lead. They make good decisions. So instead of messaging you, what do you feel like doing, they would lead and go, would you like to go to the art gallery next week? Like, would you be interested in the art gallery? Straight away, if somebody's messaging you, you can go, yeah, they're not leading, because that's not leadership energy. And you want leadership energy. And leadership energy, like, think of someone who you've allowed in your life to lead, or who you've trusted. There's trust to follow their decisions, and that they make succinct decisions, and that your best interests aren't compromised. And so I think it's really important to say that you want someone who has leadership qualities, because you want to be able to trust them. It doesn't mean for a second that you don't get to be part of decision making. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that you can take a whole lot of weight off you by going, okay, this person I'm bringing in has made these decisions. Yeah, I can have some input, and I actually agree or disagree, whatever, but okay. That's up to you whether you want this person to have leadership. But I know that in my experience, women miss out a lot of these qualities, and they go for the more, I don't know, maybe superficial things. Okay, next. You want someone who brings out the best in you, that challenges you in all the best of ways. And I think it can be that simple. They challenge me in the best of ways, because you've got to go find your best of ways to deal with you. I think that's a good general statement. The other one is, let's look at rupture and repair. So every relationship is going to go through periods of, yeah, we're not on the same page. And that's emotional, and brings up the flight, fight, fawn, freeze, all those things. And there's no getting away from that. It happens. But what you want is that you are able to have conversations that are respectful, that don't resort to name calling, and that you are healed enough that you can still see the strengths in your person, and you can allow each other time and space to repair and forgive. Like, who's not going to make mistakes? Like, really? And if you look at a mistake, there's usually so many more impacting factors. But what you want to be sure is that your person has capacity for rupture in the relationship and repair, and that you can do that and strengthen it over time. So I think that's really important. The next thing is that you align with money, because how draining is it to have someone who isn't able to manage their finances? And all you've got to do, like, is look at their past and listen to their conversations to see if that's something that's there. But what you want to do is say that, someone who's a worker, who has a good work ethic, has a strong work ethic, and can problem solve. They're kind of the qualities you want in a man. I know you might have some more, but they're the things that I would think are important. That he's family focused, if that's what you want, or he's adventure focused, if that's what you want. That this person is your best friend, that you have so many shared qualities that you kind of can meet in the middle and go, yeah, it doesn't mean you have to be the same, but it does mean that, you can have shared passions that you can enjoy and partake of. I mean, there's nothing better than meeting someone who has a world that's unknown to you, and you learn all these new things. That's wonderful if you're open to it. But it's also beautiful when you meet someone who you have so many shared interests, that you meet on the intellectual level, the mental level, the physical level. It just adds another layer. And so the next one you want to be sure is that there's this thing in family therapy where people who grow up in similar... Okay, I'm going to give you an example. So if we took a child who had been in a family where mum and dad being in the same room and everybody having the TV on and some food in front of them was connection and family time, and they grew up with that. If you take that child as a teen and you put them in a family where it's like an old-fashioned, traditional, lovely family, and there's an expectation that we share our thoughts and feelings, that we're all like deeply committed to the conversation, that child who's come from that family that silently sits in front of the telly and everybody wanders in and out and nobody says where they're going or what they're doing is going to struggle. They're going to feel overwhelmed. They're going to feel like it's way too much. So look at family background. Like, we both come from similar backgrounds, and you will find a connection because you will have this energetic, magnetic understanding of what it's like, and you'll come from the values and beliefs that are easier to understand within each other. And that will ensure that moving forward, the norms of the relationship will result from being on a similar page. And another thing, okay, I've noticed that a lot of relationships break down when there's mental health within the relationship. So somebody gets depression, somebody gets anxiety, and they turn away from their partner. I think what's really important is that if you're writing what you want in your future relationship, your future person, that you include something along the lines of when life is hard, you turn towards each other, not away. And, it doesn't mean you have to be enmeshed, and they can be away from you, but energetically, I think it's really important to not shut down your energy and feel disconnected and push them, because in doing that, it builds the walls bigger. If you can understand and give that bit of space for them to come back. So I suppose what I'm saying is that an affirmation would be, or writing your list. If myself or my person are going through hard times, we always come back together because we don't disconnect. And so this list that you're writing is to get you through the hardest times, because we can all get through the easy times. Easy times are easy. Who's going to struggle with the easy times? When the sun is shining, that just came out of nowhere. Oh my goodness. Look at these cards. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. So that's the best card in the deck. So everyone can get through the sunshine. That's no problem. It's the death. And the death is literally the transformation and change of the relationship and bringing it into new ways. And then we have, look what came up, the Lovers. And that's bringing it back together, reconnecting. And this has got to be the basis of what you're putting together. And then there's the celebration. Oh, God, they're so good. Look at them, one after another. Oh, my goodness, this is crazy. These are just coming out. And then we got the King of Wands. So I feel like, that was like a positive affirmation for me. This is a worthy video, and it relates to what I notice in my readings a lot. The other thing that I'll say is, while you're writing your list, like, definitely write your list. Keep going back to your list and refining your list. But the other thing I would say to you is, so a lot of the women I get that come for readings, they get to the point where they're like, I can't do this anymore. I've got the same kind of thing going on. Take the time to work on you, because energetically, you brought this in. No matter what they do, you brought this in because it's your pattern. So you need to heal your pattern so that your set point, your underlying values and beliefs that you hold in your neurobiology, that you hold in your limbic system, that you energetically hold in your tissues and in your meridian system, within your body, your spiritual temple that's housing you. You need that to be set from down here to just enough to up here with your heart, so that your soul frequency is resonating with this perfectness in front of you that you're going to draw forward. All right. Have a beautiful day. Work on you. If you want to book a session, I'll leave my details below. And I do coaching sessions, psychic readings. I can find what anybody's blocks are. I do emotional release work, energetic release work, counseling, therapy, blah, blah, everything. Thanks.